These are the top 5 Commander Precons of all time. Starting with number 5, we have Guided by Nature. This deck, led by Freyalise Llanowar's Fury, stands out as one of the only monocolored Precons ever made. And its core strategy of mono-green elf ball that goes wide and pumps creatures is tried and true. This deck is pretty focused, with 23 elves including 1-drops like Llanowar Elves and Elvish Mystic that we usually don't see in Precons. This lets you more consistently power out Freyalise on turn 3 or 4, plussing to make more mana dorks and eventually ulting to win the game with one of the deck's 7 Overrun variants. Jiraga Warcaller, Azuri Renegade Leader, Overrun, Overwhelming Stampede, Thunderfoot Baloth, Beastmaster Ascension, and Siege Behemoth. It's lacking a little in instant speed removal, but you also have some interaction built into Freyalise. This is a consistent deck with a handful of the best elf cards Commander has to offer. Number 4, Plunder the Graves. Next we have the quintessential graveyard precon, helmed by Marin of Clan Nel Toth. With 38 creatures, this deck will consistently get its engine online. It also has some all-around format staples like Skull Clamp, Eternal Witness, Sakura Tribelder, Victimize, and Shriekmaw for raw power. It can fill its graveyard early with Satyr Wayfinder, Grizzly Salvage, Mulch, or through less traditional methods like Blood Baron and Lotleth Troll. The deck could use a few more dinky expendable creatures, but what it lacks in fodder it makes up for in win cons. We've got Overwhelming Stampede and Pathbreaker Ibex as top tier finishers, with Kesset Cagebreakers, Mazarek Crawl Death Priest, and Eldrazi Monument as backups. This precon packs a serious punch. Number 3, Hail Caesar. This is a brutal tokens deck with lots of sacrifice fodder and a powerful engine in Caesar, Legion's Emperor. Get the sacrifice train started with a Bastion of Remembrance, Powder Ganger, or even a random 2-drop like Butch Deloria. One factor that sets this deck apart from others is its great removal suite. It has 4 board wipes and Ruinous Ultimatum, Hour of Reckoning, the Nifton Lottery, and Martial Coup. So Hail Caesar is more than capable of coming back from behind. Pump spells like Intangible Virtue, Securitron Squadron, Colonel Autumn, Marshal's Anthem, Fervent Charge, and Vault 75 Middle School help press the advantage when your board is large. And you can always rely on Caesar for direct damage as well. This is a deck you don't want to mess with. Number 2, Necron Dynasties. This deck is filled to the brim with artifacts, 50 to be exact, so you know that the commander, Zarek the Silent King, is getting his value when he attacks. Warhammer 40k Precons had a lot of cards designed specifically for multiplayer commander, much more than your average Precon. So this deck has a lot of powerful tools custom built to help it succeed, like Chronomancer, Necron Deathmark, Canoptech Spider, and Biotransference. I do wish the deck came with more instants. All you have out of the box are Defile, Darkness, and Go for the Throat, but it can still control the board with wipes like Mutilate and Their Name is Death, and all of its vehicles like Night Scythe, Necron Monolith, and Ghost Ark will survive. The deck also has Living Death, which can win games all by itself, especially when fueled by some of the self-mill in here like Flayed One and Technomancer. Finish games with Cranial Plating or fire off a large X spell like their number is Legion off a Cage Sun. This deck is truly an all-around powerhouse. And number 1, Exit from Exile. Feldorn leads the charge, pumping out an endless supply of 2/2 wolves as you do the 2 things this deck was built for: ramp and card draw. It's got 16 ways to ramp and 12 ways to get card advantage, but that's not counting the high number of Cascade spells and 2-for-1s you'll find in here. The only slight weakness this deck has is that it's a little slower to close out games, relying on End-Race Forerunners, Warstorm Surge, Passionate Archaeologist, and Outpost Siege to end things. This deck also introduced a staple among Exile Matters decks, Delayed Blast Fireball, which turns the tide of games by itself when cast at the right moment. Exit from Exile combines fundamentals with exciting build-arounds, making it well deserving of the title of Best Precon of all time.